Hi, I'm Tom. This is Lucy, and this is Kitty Help Desk. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about scratchers and the benefits to your cats of having multiple scratchers around the house, and really the difference in the different kinds of scratchers that you can choose and which ones are generally better for most cats and which ones are worse. Now, cats do tend to have preferences about these things like they do everything. Cats love to make choices. So if you can offer them choices, that's really the way to learn what they like. Cats generally like relatively tall scratchers. In fact, even taller than this one, usually tall enough that they can reach out their full body and stretch out and scratch all the way down the way they would on a tree if they were out in the wild. So some cats really like that stretch, that full body stretch. Others really like to do that on the ground on something, and these sort of just corrugated scratchers that sit on the floor, they can work pretty well as long as they're big enough for the cat to stand on it and scratch at the same time. Now, some of these get really pricey really quickly, and you see me patting this one. This one, we've had it for a while, and it's been well used and well loved, and Lucy especially likes this one. But it was not inexpensive considering that it's kind of just this mass of corrugated cardboard. The same thing with this one, although they haven't used this one. And, my question is, can you imagine why not? And I thought they would use the inside of it more, and they have used the inside of it more than they have the outside. But every time they try to scratch the outside, it rolls over on them. So that's not a good scratcher. This outside has never really been used at all. In fact, you can see it's just like it was brand new. Fortunately, they like to sit in this, and that's really what I bought it for, more than for the scratching surface. But again, this is another one that wasn't inexpensive. This is another one that I tried out that is a Velcro-like roll that goes around like a table leg or a desk leg, trying to make that into a scratching surface. And if they scratch vertically like this can work. If they pull on it, though, it turns and it wants to swivel. Right, Lucy? And that means if it's not secure, they may not want to use it. Scratching has a couple of different purposes in a cat's life. One is that they need to shed the nail sheaths. Their nails grow in multiple layers, and as a new nail grows, the old nail gets pushed off. And in order to get that nail sheath off, yeah, just like that, you do this, just like that. When they scratch on that surface, it pulls that sheath off. And so that exposes a razor sharp, fresh nail underneath. And they go through quite a few of these every year. And it'll vary from cat to cat as to how often they need to use a scratching surface. But all of them need something that they can use to scratch their front claws on. Their back claws generally tend to take care of themselves, although, some of them will want to use a horizontal scratcher like this just to kind of dig in with their back claws when they're scratching their front claws. But they don't scratch their back claws in quite the same way most of the time. The other purpose that this activity has is that it's a way for them to mark their territory. Now, that's not just through scent, although scent is a primary means. There are glands in their feet that deposit scent as they're scratching. But the sound that it makes when they're scratching really tells other cats, this is mine, stay away. If another cat's around and a cat feels threatened, a lot of times they'll go to something and just start scratching it to make a display of, this is my area, I claim this area, this is not your area. Every cat's a little different in what they need, so you have to be able to sort of offer them choices that allow you to kind of home in on what they prefer. So these horizontal scratchers are probably the least expensive of all the scratchers, and if you can offer those, cats generally will enjoy those to some degree. Although in my experience, most cats tend to like vertical scratchers better. But to be honest, I mean, they kind of need both. So, providing one of these and a tall vertical scratcher gives them a lot of good options. Now, when it comes to cat trees, a lot of cat trees come with sort of carpeted surfaces on the vertical sections. If it's just got carpet on it, they're probably not going to use it frequently as a scratcher. They may use it to some degree, but that's mainly for scent marking purposes. In order to really dig in, they need something rough. And generally speaking, rougher textures trigger these behaviors. Just like in the wild, a rough bark on a tree is going to make them want to mark the tree. So you want a surface like this is really great because it's very much like the surface of tree bark, especially once it gets used a little bit, The rope wound around a pole like a sisal scratcher, those are great too because also they give you that rough feel. There are certain Berber carpets that will attract some cats. It just depends on the cat. I do think, though, that having in your home at least one tall, meaning sort of head height cat tree, head height to you, to the human in the house, with poles that have sisal wrapping on them is really a great thing because it's got a lot of different uses. And even if they don't scratch those poles in particular, there's other things they can do with that cat tree. There's one company that I particularly like that makes cat trees that, kind of suit a lot of different budgets and a lot of different size and shape configurations. And they're called New Cat Condos. I'll put a link down in the notes. I found them to be really, really well made and also reasonably priced. I mean, they're not cheap. You're not going to get anything great cheap. Mina used to, because I had so little space when I lived in the one-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, Mina had these floor-to-ceiling sort of cat trees that had 3 levels that kind of spring-loaded against the ceiling and the floor. And she would generally go through those, in maybe a year or two because the carpet on them was not very good and it would wear out. And then once it's got stringy things hanging off of it, it's no longer something that your cat really needs to have access to because they can ingest those strings and they can get caught in their digestive tract, and that's no good for anybody. So, take a look at what's available out there and choose something that's affordable, that's not going to break the budget, and, provide this one thing for your cat because this is something that they absolutely need and something that they will actually thrive better with. So, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.